Time for a coffee break. Yes, it is. And I've got mine right here. Henry, I read something interesting the other day. Henry, for those of you who don't know, has a crowdfunding application in the Philippines. It's actually headquartered in Las Vegas. Um, but I was thinking crowdfunding was kind of dead, or at least it slowed down. And I read something that people are, I don't remember the exact number, so I'm kind of making this up, but it was something like $100,000 an hour is earned over crowdfunding. Just curious, what's going on with your industry? Put your picture back on. We don't want to
Just a second. I'll gotta stop sharing my picture.
Well, these handsome dudes don't.
Well, as for our crowdfunding industry, it really depends on how you market it. As of now, what we're doing on our program is that we allow the referrers and those who are funding the businesses to earn as well, earn a commission from that, and from whatever earnings that those business would be generating in the future. As of now, as crowdfunders,
that's really interesting because I heard that concept before. Because I think equity is a big mess in just startups in general. Nobody understands it.
That's right.
And I heard that revenue share is like what people might be doing. So you might be on something big there.
Something. As of now, most people who are going into crowdfunding are sort of like donating. They're just donating.
Yeah, they're doing it out of the goodness of the heart, right? Yeah.
Out of the goodness of the heart, or out of that, they just want that gadget to be listed under them. They just want to be the first to use it, and that's their motivation on giving. But some of course, as investors, if you are going to think as an investors, you should be thinking about return on investment. You should be thinking about that, and that's why I created a new program wherein I'll be discussing that later.
No, that sounds really like you're on. No, this is just us yakking. You don't have to introduce anything. Like I said, I don't even know that people are going to watch this video. It's just us talking. But that's fascinating. The other thing I learned recently about crowdfunding, and this is really a small thing, but somehow the model always bothered me a little bit, where you have to set a time frame, and then you have to, at least this is the way Kickstarter works, and then you have to make a certain amount by that time frame, and if you don't make it, tough noogies, you lose, right? Well, I've heard that Indiegogo now is has now continual campaigns. So like you can just, it's essentially a donate button. But I thought that was kind of an interesting, I don't want to call it innovation because it's kind of common sense, but I thought that was kind of interesting also.
That's right. Indiegogo is basically just a crowdfunding platform wherein you can receive whatever you want, or you can set an amount that you want to receive. But if it's lower than that, you can opt to receive it or not. But if you meet the target, then you can receive it. You can actually set it that way. But most of the crowdfunding programs that we have here is that when you, for example, only a few donated for your cause or your campaign, then that's it. That's just the amount that you'll receive, less the commissions the crowdfunding platform receives. So it's quite.
Well, I promised I was going to check out your site, and I'm definitely going to do that. I will do that this week because I'm getting embarrassed keeping what you're saying. But I really will, because that sounds really fascinating. So, Joanna, how are you doing today?
Sounds bad.
There you go. I'm doing great. Actually, maybe you could do crowd car part sourcing. I have a question for you, Henry. I have a 1994 Mitsubishi right-hand drive RVR. Do you, in the Philippines, do you drive on the right or the left?
I would drive on the left side.
Dang me. I need an alternator.
If you want a right side driving with Japan, China.
Yes.
You have a
Well, no,
right side.
I just thought I'd throw it out there. So.
Why do
Yeah.
you have a right side car drive?
We have a car in the Bahamas in a small remote island that we like to go to, and we call it the Bush Kitty. It's basically a beach buggy.
Joanna, you have got to have the coolest business in the world. It's just like somebody got mad at me the other day. I'm kind of, an online friend of mine. I said, jealous. He had just gotten back from a yoga retreat. I hope he's not listening to this.
No, I didn't. No, a friend of mine has yoga retreats down there, but no,
it was in Hawaii or something. It just sounded really cool, and I said, "I'm jealous." You get kind of bent out of shape. I was jealous. I would say I was joyous. Well, I'm sorry. I'm on vacation for 10 years. I'm not joyous for you. I'm not joyous about my own life.
Thank you. Actually, what
Yeah,
I'm putting
speaking
together is a mastermind sales cruise that's happening in February. So maybe that's what it's a retreat on a boat. So that's probably what we're talking about.
I wanted to ask you a question about that.
Sure.
So how do you get? I mean, so you obviously have to get people who are doing pretty well to be able to afford a cruise. But how do you get clients? What is your marketing technique or whatever?
So one of the best ways that I found, Rob, to get clients is also to work with other people within my niche. So, for example, it's called joint venturing. So to help develop my list, there's some people that are on the ship. There's two. Alicia Little, she's an internet marketing person who's really well known in developing sales funnels and also outsourcing. So this is probably something that's dear to your heart too, Henry, is how to outsource to your team so that you can develop a strong support mechanism.
Yes.
Yes, so she's very, very big on this, and she is well known in the outsourcing world. She trains people in Africa and the Caribbean and all over. So she is also going on it. So how I'm attracting people is I'm leveraging their contacts and details to fill my programs. So that's one of the ways.
I think a lot of people use that technique. I don't have that down yet. But I think a lot of business coaches use that. And you would think they would really be in competition with each other, but they seem to know how to hand clients back and forth to each other somehow. Well, I don't know how they pull it off, but they do.
But a lot of it's about boundaries, right? So within this, I have agreements, the people that are coming on board to speak. So when they're presenting, they can't sell their products, right? Because I'm actually paying them a fee. But when they're off the stage, they can do whatever they want. But when they're actually doing their training stuff, it's not about their products, their services. It's specifically about presenting value to the delegates that are on board the ship. So it depends how you develop that joint venture relationship and how clearly and precise you are in setting it up. So I'm a very structured person. Everything I do, I have contracts in place. So if anybody's out there that's doing anything, you need a contract. Some people say it's just
that would be a wonderful topic right now. How to set up joint ventures.
That's right. Joint ventures and all. That will be wonderful. That will be a very wonderful topic here.
So let's do it. Let's do it.
Next Wednesday? You want to do that next Wednesday?
Unfortunately, next week I'm really, really busy, so it would have to be the week after.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's put that on the calendar. Let's do that. So maybe the following Wednesday or something. You asked me on a post, and it kind of flexamined me. Is that a word? Flexamined? Whatever.
We can make it a word.
That's not a word. Let's make it a word. You asked me if I had a mentor, and I do not. And I would really like one. And, I've talked about peer mentoring a few times. Part of the problem is a lot of the stuff I do is a little bit complicated. And I've got more than one venture, which kind of adds to the complication. I saw a woman just the other day. She's in New Zealand, and I'm sorry I'm not remembering her name. She did a hangout yesterday. And her thing was, the theme of her page or whatever, profile, was that she likes to help people that want to make change in the world, and she wants to help people. I mean, it was monetize your mission, and I thought, what a cool tagline, monetize your mission.
Very good.
That's kind of what I got to do. One of my missions is to build a global entrepreneur community. And of which, the entrepreneur community on Google Plus might be a part of it, but it's probably not the whole thing. And there's some limitations to what we can do on Google. There's some good things, like especially Hangouts. But the technology for communities is pretty limited. So looking at the big picture, even if it's across systems, that's something I'd like to do. However, with her theme about monetizing your mission, that is so hard to do when you're serving entrepreneurs. Joanne, you seem to have found a niche, the higher-end niche. But an associate of mine said, and he has a big entrepreneurs community on LinkedIn, or a big small business community, and he said to me, he goes, those people just don't spend money. He goes, I would rather have any group of people in a community, and this is terrible, I would rather have any group of people in a community other than entrepreneurs. I would rather have teachers. I would rather have nurses. And he went through half dozen professions. And I got what he was saying, sort of. What's your thoughts on that? It's just like...
I think a lot of that has to be your mind frame and your mindset. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I've been talking a little bit before in the other weeks, is that, you are what you attract. Right? So if you think, just like I've coached someone who just said, well, who would spend that kind of money on, she's a blogger, so who would spend that kind of money on having someone read their blog posts? And I'm thinking, well, if you think that somebody doesn't want to spend $25 on a blog post, then you are also going to attract individuals who only want to spend $5 on a blog post.
Yeah.
It sounds a little bit weird, but it does make a difference in your mindset. And the other thing, I just went to a talk by Rob Woodbridge. He has a interview type show that's called Untethered TV. So he talks to the chief financial officer of Google and all these different individuals who are high performing clients. And one of the things that he said is to making sure that you develop the closeness of the individuals that you have. It doesn't matter if you have 50,000 Twitters or, like you say, you've got 55,000 people in this community. What it really is important is to try and develop a community of 100 people. So,
yeah, I totally agree with that. It's something I've been thinking a lot lately. And like, if you lost your account on Google Plus or whatever, I've got 60,000 followers in a 50,000 member community. If you lost your account, and I've seen people lose their Google accounts, it's not impossible. If you're not doing anything wrong, who would care or even notice? For most of us, that's less than a dozen people. And those people are the ones you should really just pay attention to. Hi, Roy.
Hi, Roy.
Hi, Rob. Hi, Joanna.
Hi.
I'm great. I agree with you guys. Who would really care?
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't theoretical. Some of us saw that for real. And it's a good question to ask yourself, especially if you get hung up on follower count or other people do. That means nothing. It means a little, but not very much at all. But who would care? And those are the people. I did an interesting exercise recently, and it ended up being kind of pathetic. I decided to list my top 100 business contacts. I'm kind of on this list making craze right now. I read this article, How to Become a Business Machine, by James Altucher, the head of or the founder of Twitter. And he would make a list of 10 things every day, and they could be anything. 10 blog posts I should write, 10 industries I should know more about. And he says after you do this for 6 months, you get really, really good at coming up with ideas. I think it happens earlier than that with less frequency. But I tried to make a list of my top 100 business contacts. I'm not sure if I have top 100, but it was like really pathetic. I was putting enemies in there. Try to do that. It's like wow. I'm saying, who am I closest to? And so for all these, maybe I'm revealing too much here on a public video, but for all these, tens of thousands of followers and social media things, the number of people I'm close to is not enough. There's some, but not enough. So that's my confession for today.
Well, that reminds me of Mari Smith says something about Hollywood Squares. You know, the tic-tac-toe board, 3x3. So 9 people. She says put 9 people in there that you want to meet, and make them to where they're relevant to you, and so on and so forth, and let the other people know, all of the people know, that you want to meet with them. And, if that's something that they want to do as well, then there you go. And I agree with something like that. I think that's not being done enough. We have the technology. Look,
there's some interesting psychologies. Just really fascinating, because I've always liked persuasion, the science of persuasion, even though I don't think I'm necessarily good at it. But I just think it's really interesting. And did you know, the cart goes before the horse on a lot of these things. For example, you think, like, to make someone like you, that I don't know, you have to do favors for them or whatever. It's actually, or you think it's just kind of a natural, organic thing that happens. Actually, if you like someone and you keep expressing it, however, they'll figure out a reason to like you. They'll say, well, Rob likes me, so there must be something good about him.
It's kind of a curiosity factor. Yeah, at least it brings up the curiosity factor. So, even someone who's at the top of their game, let's take, for example, a Chris Brogan, a Mari Smith, somebody that's at the top of their game. Now, if they were to see, like, a blog post or maybe even a social media post here in G+ or whatever that says, yeah, I'd really like to meet with Mari or with Chris, and here's why, and give all these reasons, and mention them, and maybe do it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And say, it doesn't have to be long. It can just be 15 minutes, and we can do it on, in a Hangout or on Skype or on the phone, whatever their choice is. And see what happens. You just might get that other person to say, there's something about this guy Roy or Rob or Joanna that, maybe I should touch base with them. What do you guys think?
Well, in that case, I'm not sure I agree, and here's the reason why. Because there's that standard thing that they say as a social media strategy that you should suck up to influencers. They don't use it, they say you should engage with influencers. I'm not sure that's always true. I love engaging with non-influencers. I follow people that have no followers all the time. And I'm surprised some of them end up getting a lot of followers. I just do it on instinct. And so I'm not sure, like, even me, I'm just, hardly a stunning success in business. But even me, I think people see, the follower count, and they decide, well, I should know this guy. So, it would have to be, I guess what I'm saying, it would have to be sincere. You'd really have to have real reasons, not just because they're famous, rich and famous or something. Do you agree or disagree? Or?
Well, yeah, not for the sheer fact that they're just, famous, but they have and or serve the same audience that you do, and getting in with them, getting to know them, like them, trust them as a person, as a friend. They will then realize that you as a person have value, and if you have a product or service that provides value, then a joint venture is imminent. That's my whole point, and maybe strategy or tactic might not be the best word, but do you follow what I'm trying to say? Just to get on the radar.
Yeah. I'm really big into what's called receiving, and I'm trying. I wrote a blog post about it in a book called The Log from the Sea of Cortez by John Steinbeck. He writes about this character Doc. Did anybody read Cannery Row or Torquilla Flat? Doc was this maniac party animal friend of his. He was a scientist, and he was just always hanging out with hookers, but he was an intellectual guy. He'd always have parties. He was just crazy. His car got hit by a train, and he died. And this was the eulogy. And what Steinbeck said was his special gift was not that he was a giver, and Steinbeck just expressed this perfectly. It's in the appendix of The Log from the Sea of Cortez. He says, givers are everywhere. He goes, but what Doc could do was receive. And the way he explained it was really funny. Like, he would take these inane comments that, like, some of the hookers would make, and he would, like, rephrase them in a really, really intelligent way and give them back to them, but in a way that they still felt it was their own. So everybody wanted to know this guy because he was a receiver. He wasn't a giver, he was a receiver. I thought that's something. And the social media way, I'm trying to express that now. Somebody said about Google Plus, for example, it was actually Pando Daily, Silicon Valley blog, and they said Google Plus is the place where everybody comes to post and nobody comes to read. So what if you made up that list of those 10 guys that you want to meet, like you recommended, and that fits perfectly with my, my 10 list technique, or 100 people you want to meet. What if instead of constantly posting to show how smart you are, like everybody does, maybe even me sometime, instead you took some time to read their blogs and think about what they're saying. How many times do you go and read somebody's blog? I mean, we don't do that enough. So if you had that list, I mean, partly because we're overwhelmed, but if you had that list, 10, 20, whatever, people you really want to meet, then I have a circle called Monitor, where they go on an event, on a notification circle. And then you went and read their blog, you thought about it, you really tried to add value to it. It seems like that would be a good approach with social media. None of us have time for this, but I'm just kind of thinking out loud. Thoughts? Anybody? Agree, disagree?
Yeah, and I also think the actual written blog is going to go to the wayside. I think it's all going to go to short video clips, as opposed to we don't have time to read, we have such a short attention span, and it's easier to engage that way, because I've noticed a difference. I was blogging 3 times a week. I've now started, well, I put my first video up, so I can't say I started, but I am in the process of starting. And when I had no comments on my blog, but I've got 90 views on my channel and 15 people watching the video. So, and commenting, like giving quality feedback and questions. So I actually think that, like I said, the written blog is going to go to the wayside.
Well, I still like the written word, and I still like reading, but I do agree with you, and I've noticed a lot more people making YouTube channels.
Yeah.
And and by the way, for anybody listening or anybody here, the process between linking a page and a YouTube channel is a lot more clear now. Google straightened that out. It was a total mess before. Now it's really easy to do. And I was always intimidated by video editing. I was totally afraid of it. I thought it would just be something that took hours and was just a total pain in the ass. And I tried, it's called Windows Media Manager. That's not the name of it. But it's on, if you have a Windows machine, it's on your computer.
Yeah, movie. It's a movie.
Windows Movie Maker. Really simple. It's really simple to use. I was surprised. There's only a few commands. You can cut a video in half, so you can. When I did that Stanford class, I didn't know we had to give a class presentation. I didn't know anything about video editing, so I tried to do the whole thing in one take. Oh God, it was awful. And I finally did. It was like an hour-long thing. I was fumbling. It was just terrible. And so Joanne, you're right. They have to be short. And
I totally agree, Joanne. What you're saying, or Joanna, what you're saying is that is right up my wheelhouse of things that I want to put on the map, not only for myself but for other people, and especially people who belong to a certain tribe. Like, I like what you're doing here, Rob, because you're allowing us who follow you, in this community to get together with each other. Because we're going to be like-minded. We're going to have similar goals and visions and journeys. And there are other people that are going to want to share. It's like, hey, don't turn left when you get to this point in your journey. Turn right instead, because here's what happened to me. You understand what I'm saying? So if you do some of these types of posts, I got to get this. But I agree, short meet-me type videos or get-to-know-me type videos.
Okay, answer your phone call, because I just want to say one more thing about that, because I totally agree, and I appreciate that thought. And I've said this a few times. I'm not trying to set up a cult of personality here. I've noticed everybody's doing this by, and Google is set up this way, so I'm not judging or anything, but everybody's doing it so, this is the Rob show, or this is the Joanne show. And I wanted to use this amazing technology we have as a kind of a community building thing where we all kind of get to know each other a little bit better. So these informal coffee break ones, I actually end up learning more sometimes than I do in the ones that are topic based. But we've set up a few, so anybody can do these, and we'll help you. Joanne, if you want to do one, or Roy's on the phone, or Henry, if you want to do one about crowdfunding, not only do I not want to do them all myself, I cannot. So we've set up a system where the entrepreneurs community keeps the branding, and we help you promote it to the best we can. But then you will have, the YouTube video that will be on your profile. You'll have some people. So the way that works is we've got 3 brands, and I'm sorry if I'm talking too much. This is really quick. We've got the Small Business Coffee Break, which is this. So if you want to host one of these, I'd love somebody to do one at different times. And that will be, you'll do it under this brand. You'll be the host. You'll launch it. And then we have the Let's Talk About series. That's the one you guys have all been into before, where we pick some topic. So Joanne's joint venture would be a wonderful one. Or if Roy, or Henry, if you want to do one about crowdfunding, that'd be great.
Crowdfunding,
so you would do that, and then we would help you promote it. And then we have one more that we haven't done too recently. Stephanie Sims came up with it. It's called Pool Our Knowledge, and that's for more of a formal presentation where you have slides, and you might just have 1 or 2 people, but that's when you have a message to get out. We want them to be in the community interest, not just purely self-promotional. But other than that, we're, let's go. We got this great technology. Let's use it. Anyway.
Well, I totally agree. I'm in. Okay. That sounds really good. And Joanna, I wanna hear more about what you have to say. Not now, but maybe we could get together, and because you sound like my kind of gal/person, because video really is where it's at, and short videos. I mean, what's the first thing you all hear when somebody says, "Hey, go watch this video"? Well, what's the first thing you hear?
Yeah, I'll do it. They're going to do it.
No, because videos are an interruption of the now. They, if you're in a social media stream that says video, the first thing you look at, I think, is the time.
Exactly. People say, "How long is it? How long is it? You want me to watch a video? How long is it?" And one of the things I think, guys, that makes the TED Talk so outstanding for me is I know no matter what TED Talk I watch, it's 20 minutes. It's consumable,
Yeah.
And the one I really love a lot, and I've been watching it for years and sharing it with people, How to Start a Movement by Derek Severs. It's 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And it literally just excited me to no end how to start a movement. And I think that's
because in addition to, and this kind of goes in with what Joanna said too, in addition to, I don't think blogs are bad. But videos are starting to come more of age, and YouTube and Google are getting better at it. I'm starting to watch more. Somebody said to me once, once you get older, you should stop reading books. I'm not sure I agree with that.
Oh no.
I think I went through a phase where I was reading all sorts of, startup books and stuff, and then I went through a phase where I was reading blog posts, and now I think I'm in a video phase, and I do like the quickness. And writing is hard, and it might be just easier, just like a lot of times, just like flip on the video and start saying what's on your mind, and then do a little bit of editing so people aren't stuck listening to you drone for hours, and like hammer out some message on the video. I'm all for it.
The other beautiful thing is there's a great technology of voice to text, so you can actually do the video, and you can have it transcribed. So below where your description of what's happening in the video, you can actually have a transcription, which also Google loves, especially if you're using a particular keyword like crowdfunding.
No kidding. So is that a part of YouTube, or how does that work, or is that something? So
when you upload a video into YouTube, there's a whole thing below about to give you a description of what's involved. So actually, you can have your voice translated into text. You can copy that text and put it right into it. There's also a button feature on Google itself that you can hit. It will have the ticker tape on the bottom that is for deaf people, so actually can see what the person is actually saying.
Yes.
So then you're getting a double whammy. You can sit the people that actually want to watch it, and then the people that actually want to read.
But the thing for me too, Joanna, and the rest of you, is the time stamping. That I've really started getting into that. The time stamping, that feature is tremendous because now somebody doesn't have to watch the whole thing. You can just point out what was the highlight of my 1 hour show, or what was the highlight of this 2 hour chat, or even a 20-minute, you know. And when they can scroll down, and you maybe have 10 or 20, you said you like lists there, Rob. So what if you post like 10 or 20 little timestamps out of your, you know, half hour, 1 hour little video, and people can just look at it and go, oh, this is interesting. What about, and click right there and go right to that part in the video. That is amazing.
You know, and that's really important on social media posts. We see so many junk posts on, you know, on the entrepreneurs community. A lot of them just end up in the spam folder. But you know, if you post an hour-long video and say something like "great video," that's just totally useless. Nobody's, you know, you're out of it now. When you leave the stream, you go watch a video. But if you say, you know, this part starts at the 3-minute 16-second mark.
Yes.
The person knows exactly what to do. They get the information quickly. So I totally agree.
Yes, yes, you know, and you 30 seconds, and you get this great, like, sound bite, because this is really what we can do. And I don't know if enough people are aware of it, because I don't really see people doing that. They post these videos, but they don't help us along. Like, what is your biggest takeaway, or why should I even watch this? You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
watch this.
Hey, Roy, remind me what your business are. You're a business coach. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm basically a consultant in relationship marketing. I like connecting people. I'm a connector, so I love networking, getting people. So people that I know, I like connecting with people that I know. And
okay. Well, you know, that's another possible hangout topic. You know, how to do YouTube channels and, you know, market entrepreneurial ventures or whatever. So there's a saying I like. Pat Buchanan said it when he was running for president. You know, don't wait for orders from headquarters, mountain the sound of the gun or whatever. And that's why I said, like, you know, I don't want to stand in anybody's way. I do want to build a global entrepreneur community. However that happens, I want us all, like Roy said, I want us all to start knowing each other. And after a while, you know, just familiarity. You know a person's not there to, if nothing else, you know a person's not there to scam you. After you've worked with them for a while. So, you know, we'll start learning more about each other and what we're doing and ways to work with each other. And I just think, you know, just consistency, we keep going. And I think, you know, these hangouts are great.
I'd also like to say that one of the things I do on Fridays, I call a thing called Referral Fridays. And if you have a program or you have something that's going on that's new and exciting, every Friday I give a big shout out to who you are and share it amongst my community. So I think that's also really good to get to know each other and also help promote ourselves to grow and know what's going on.
Is that a hangout or is that a post?
That's a post that I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of work, though, kind of, is it?
Oh, actually, it really isn't. It takes a couple of minutes just saying that, hey, are you looking for such and such? For example, you're looking for crowdfunding for your project. I know that you know, my Plus Henry has a great platform that he works on with crowdfunding on special things. Reach out to him, and I usually try to find an image of whatever top project, for example, Henry, whatever project that you're working on, or your business logo, or in putting your web URL. It doesn't take that much. It really doesn't take that much time. It's just a whole pay it forward thing, really.
So it's one person every week, right?
One person every week.
Okay.
Yes. That's also the thing I do here. How do you call this? Am I still on? All right. Yes, actually, that's also one thing that I do whenever I meet people here, especially you guys, and then I also share all of the things that you're sharing on each of your Google Plus posts there, especially if it's really interesting and it's relevant to my followers as well. So that's really I really appreciate it, Rob, that you've been doing this out of out of I don't know what's your motivation for doing this, but it's really affecting a lot of people. You know, it has impact because you've even magnetized a CEO like me to go here and sit down at 2 o'clock in the
3
morning.
3 in the morning.
3 o'clock.
Okay. Guys, I'm gonna call this one.
Magnetic personality.
I'm gonna call this one. This has been a great meeting. I mean, it's small. I thought I bombed it this time, but this one was great. But I said 30 minutes, and we're like at 40 now. So all this talk about short videos, we've already broken that. Parting shots, anybody? Anything anyone else wants to say? Or? No? Okay, you can stay in the room. I'm gonna end the broadcast now. Thank you, anybody who's listening, and we're gonna keep doing these. If you want to do one yourself, let us know. But till next time, we'll catch you later.